everyone! I would like to share to you my personal views on God's moral law. My personal view on God's moral law is eternal because it is the expression of His very being. I know every one of us know about God's moral law. And it is very important to us as a Christian to be followed because it is the standard of His doctrines. In some other way, many of us complain about it because it is very hard thing to follow. But I believe if you want to follow God in your life, you will not hesitate to obey and follow His moral law because it will guide you into the right direction. Because God's moral law is the way of disciplining us as His children. God only wants us to be His good and faithful servant. As a follower, we are people of grace and not law. But it is God's law that demonstrates His spotless character and shows our need of grace. The law is like a mirror. In it, we contemplate our weakness. Then, the iniquity arising from this, and finally, the curse coming from both, just like as a mirror shows us the spots on our face. The law of God functions to keep the evildoers from being as bad as they otherwise might be. Thus, to some degree, it serves to protect God's people from the sinful machination of the ungodly. The laws God certainly regenerate a sinful heart. That is the domain of the Holy Spirit through the gospel alone. Believers who have been transformed by the gospel need the law as well. Certainly not as a means of salvation, but as a guide to sanctification. The law reveals God's perfect righteousness and reveals that which is pleasing to Him. A believers can come to delight in God's commands, however, only after his heart has been regenerated by God's grace through the gospel.